Robert Frost was an American poet. He is highly regarded for his realistic depictions of rural life and his command of American colloquial speech. His work frequently employed settings from rural life in New England in the early 20th century, using them to examine complex social and philosophical themes. Robert Frost was born on March 26, 1874 in San Francisco, California, to journalist William Frost Jr. and Isabella Moody. His mother was of Scottish descent, and his father descended from Nicholas Frost of Tiverton, Devon, England. Frost's father was a teacher and later an editor of the San Francisco Evening Bulletin, and an unsuccessful candidate for city tax collector. After his death on May 5, 1885, the family moved across the country to Lawrence, Massachusetts, under the patronage of William Frost Sr. Frost graduated from Lawrence High School in 1892. His mother joined the Swedenborgian Church and had him baptized in it, but he left it as an adult. Although known for his later association with rural life, Frost grew up in the city, and he published his first poem in his high school magazine. He attended Dartmouth College for 2 months, but he then returned home to teach and to work at various jobs, including helping his mother teach her class of unruly boys, delivering newspapers, and working in a factory as an arc-light carbon filament changer. He did not enjoy these jobs, feeling his true calling was poetry. Frost's style of writing is unique. His poems were all very realistic and rural. He used lyric and narrative poetry with characters, background, and imagery drawn from New England. His choice of rural subjects and traditional verse forms has contributed to the view of his work as homely and comfortable. But the underlying darkness and ambiguous vision is unconventional. Frost left a great influence on the world. Like most poets, he left that sense of wonder, creativity, and curiosity with the world. Some are influenced more than others, like some of his fellow poets. These poets include Seamus Heaney, Richard Wilbur, and Edward Thomas. Frost's work inspired these poets to also become poetic masters as he was. Randall Jarrell, another poet influenced by Robert Frost, wrote this appraisal about his career.
Robert Frost, along with Stevenson Eliot, seems to be the greatest of American poets of this century. Frost's virtues are extraordinary. No other living poet has written so well about the actions of ordinary men. His wonderful dramatic monologues or dramatic scenes come out of a knowledge of people that few poets have had, and they are written in a verse that uses, sometimes with absolute mastery, the rhythms of actual speech. It is hard to overestimate the effect of this exact, spaced-out, prosaic movement, whose objects have a tremendous strength, with things merely put down and left to speak for themselves. Frost's seriousness and honesty, the bare sorrow with which sometimes things are accepted as they are, neither exaggerated nor explained away. The many, many poems in which there are real people with their real speech and real thought and real emotion. All this in conjunction with so much subtlety and exactness makes the reader feel that he is not in a book, but a world. When you know Frost's poems, you know surprisingly well what the world seems to one man. The grimness and awfulness and untouchable sadness of things, both in the world and in the self, have justice done to them in the poems, but no more justice than is done to the tenderness and love and delight, and everything in between represented somewhere too.
Frost wrote many poems, all of which are mesmerizing and wonderful. In this presentation, we present 2 of Frost's poems. The 2 poems selected are The Road Not Taken and Fire and Ice. We will start with The Road Not Taken.
The Road Not Taken. 2 roads diverged in a yellow wood, and sorry I could not travel both, and be one traveler long I stood, and looked down one as far as I could, to where it bent in the undergrowth, then took the other as just as fair, and having perhaps the better claim, because it was grassy and wanted wear. Though as for that the passing there had worn them really about the same, and both that morning equally lay, and leaves no step had trodden black. Oh, I kept the first for another day, yet knowing how way leads on to way, I doubted if I should ever come back. I shall be telling this with a sigh. Somewhere ages and ages hence, two roads diverged in a wood, and I took the one less traveled by, and that has made all the difference.
So what is this saying in American English? It's saying the speaker stands in the woods, considering a fork in the road. Both ways are equally worn and equally overlaid with untrodden leaves. The speaker chooses one, telling himself that he will take the other another day. Yet he knows it is unlikely that he will have the opportunity to do so, and he admits that someday in the future he will recreate the scene with a slight twist. He will claim that he took the less traveled road. The next poem is Fire and Ice. Fire and Ice.
Some say the world will end in fire. Some say in ice. From what I've tasted of desire, I hold with those who favor fire. But if I had to perish twice, I think I know enough of hate to say that, for destruction, ice is also great and would suffice.
So what does this one mean? The speaker considers the age-old question of whether the world will end in fire or in ice. This is similar to another age-old question, whether it would be preferable to freeze to death or burn to death. The speaker determines that either option would achieve its purpose sufficiently well. These poems have much more details and analysis that can be revealed, and probably will be soon. I wish I could fill in the blanks, but it's 12:48 in the morning and the narrators need to get some sleep too, you know. I've had a busy week. Anyway, Robert Frost is a very iconic figure. He's influenced and inspired the world in so many ways and continues to do so even beyond his grave. We hope you have enjoyed watching this video presentation. And now for the most boring part of the presentation. So boring that it gets its own elevator music. Hooray! See you guys. There, that's a little more exciting.